Hello, hello. Welcome to the Black and Orange channel. I've got to start today with I don't know if you guys ever saw there was a Paula Poundstone a number of years ago. Yes, Squeaker Bunny, you have the highest pitch meow ever. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Little squeaky kitty. Paula Poundstone, the comedian, a number of years ago, she was saying that she was in her kitchen and she was trying to get the lid off of a container of cinnamon. Well, it came off suddenly. Cinnamon everywhere in the air. Got in her nose. She sneezed so hard, she hit her forehead against the kitchen counter. And she said, I've got to tell you, I don't want a food death. I don't want the priest to be up there like, she loved spices. Well, I was just finishing a protein bar. And right as I'm getting ready, suddenly, boom, wrong pipe, coughing fit. My nose is still running. You know, if you let me put the clipboard on there, you can sit there if you want. But okay. Wrong pipe, nose is running, eyes are watering. I'm fine, but she wasn't there. She wasn't there that day at the live stream because she was passed out cold from the protein bar. I'm fine, all's well. But if I sound like my nose is running and my eyes are watering, yeah, that's what that is. But okay, welcome. Usually I spend the first 10 or 15 minutes where I take your political questions. So just put them in the chat, please, in all caps. And I will know you're talking to me. Anything that's in all caps in the chat, I'll know you're talking to me. There's a good kitty. This is my co-host, Boo Boo's and Kitty. Just a sweetheart. Okay. And yeah, I'm going to do tarot readings. And then after I get through tarot readings, I'm going to tack on some extra time to answer your general knowledge astrology questions, including I had some requests. So we're going to look at the inauguration chart for hopefully Joe Biden, what his 4 years, hello, how you doing? You're being a little clingy today, which isn't bad. I'm going to, point of privilege, normally I don't talk this much up front, just about personal stuff, but if he seems a little clingy today, it's because for a while now, he's been, every time his brother came around, he would pot him, like, go away. Like, she's mine, and this is my area, and pot him and push him, and finally, he was like, that's it. I've had enough of this. Well, when he gets into a fight with his brother always wins. Pumpkin always wins. It's not even close. He's, this little one, he likes to, you know, I'm the big tough guy, but he is a cupcake. And you know, normally it just kind of goes on, but finally, I guess Pumpkin had had enough, just enough. So he really just over, and every time he would paw at him, it was just like boom, and to the point where this one now is feeling kind of like chastened, or so he's being a little bit more clingy and a little like hang out with mom. And anyway, Somebody needs, may I text you phone number? Is there anything I can do? Just let me know. And I'll actually maybe get on with what I'm here to do and why you're here. So, thank heavens for people who are watching this on replay. There are, you can go down to the description box or the first comment. It should be covering that should have all the questions I'm covering today. Yes, and a timestamp so you can go straight there. All right. I will. I know you have lots of questions. The good boy. All right. Okie dokie. Oh, one quick thing for anybody who has not seen it, anybody who does not know, just on the off chance. Is that the new one? Hang on. That's the new one. It's a good kitten. I don't think I need all that paper. For anybody who is still trying to learn astrology, there is this. This is a learner basic. This is just a basic thing, and I'm going to use this later to show you what's going on in this chart. This is like the cheat sheet. It's for free over on Patreon, so just so you know. Okay, you can just go to my Patreon page. It's one of the most recent posts. It's available for anybody for free. You don't have to be a patron, but this will give you keywords and what have you to help you understand when people are talking about astrology. Okay. 112 people bored out of their minds, so why don't I start doing some readings? Okay. Cad Shepherd, good morrow, friends with the fantastic emojis. I love that. Kristen with Uncover the News. Hello. What will happen when Mueller is summoned to the Senate to talk about the Russia probe? Is he going to be summoned to the Senate? I know that he came out with an op-ed. But it would be lovely if he was actually called to the Senate. Or are we just assuming that that's what's going to happen next year? Oh, how I wish. Hello, good kitty. You really are a very good boy. Yes, you are. Okay. Almost got my voice back. Okie dokie. Pinned. All right, and next. Happy Sunday, everybody. Yes. Happy Sunday, kitten. Are you having a good day? Are you having a good kitty day? Precious. All right, looking for anything in all caps. Greetings from Canada, my lovely friend, says Sharon. Hello, Sharon. Oh, you okay? Are you okay, sweetheart? You're very precious. Very precious. Kathy. Hello, Kathy. Is Mitch be fired, defeated? I'm sorry, I don't quite understand. I'm sorry. Oh, breaking news. Graham says he will call Mueller to testify before the Senate panel about the Russia probe. Really? Oh, we are so reading on that. Oh, get out of the way. We are reading on that. Move, Mitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, Mitch. Get out the way. Marie, greetings, Autumn. Happy Sunday. Allison saying, hi, Autumn. Hello, everybody. You guys are so wonderful. Watergrove, good morning, Autumn. Peeps. I love that. Former Dreamer 29. Is it Allison's birthday? Happy birthday, Allison. And Jelly is saying that sounds like something I would do. I'm a klutz. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm total. I try not to be. The number of times in the early days I was knocking over my drink. Yeah. Go to start the live stream and knock my cocoa all over everything. Yeah. Boo-boo kitty. He's so good. He's so good. What a kitty. Mims, hello, hello. Beautiful. I love all these emojis. Hello, boo-boos and kitties, says Mims. Good kitties. Ricky, Autumn, try some chicken soup. It may help. I'm not, something went down the wrong pipe. I don't actually have a cold. Thank you for that, though. I'm also vegan, just to let you know. I don't know that would matter, but I can't actually eat anything higher on the food chain, so, but thank you. Renier, oh my gosh. The cat in the box surrounded by the paw prints, that's fantastic. Mary, with the red hearts, and the Water Grove with the kitties. Okay, sorry. Okay, Maria is saying, happy Sunday, everybody. Did Fruit Loops Dumpy Trump go to Walter Reed for Parkinson's? I can look. Have you guys seen him in The Mask? The rude thing, somebody had a very crude comment about the picture of Trump in his mask and the chin, the kind of his neck area, looking like a specific rudely named character from one of the Men in Black movies. It was, I tried not to laugh, but I still laughed. Just because it's Trump. I wouldn't laugh if it was anybody else, but him, he's the exception. The not rude thing is, I saw him in The Mask, and immediately it reminded me that the villain in that newer Mad Max movie. I don't know if anybody remembers what that person looked like. But all right, did Fruit Loops Dumpy Trump go to Walter Reed for Parkinson's? Okay. And then Geek Hillbilly, I think that is your name. Yes. Hello, Autumn. Governor Beshear ordered mandatory masks in public in Kentucky, but the GOP AG is fighting this in court. When will the GOP face their reckoning over this? On Election Day. Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Absolutely. And now, just to make everything 40 times worse for them, now they're pushing for not just things to close down, for people to stay home from work, for schools to be canceled for a while. Oh, no, 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 no. Now, the Trump administration is pushing for schools that they must open in the fall. So as Wallace, the woman on MSNBC, she used to work for W. I can't remember her first name for some reason. She was saying, Donald Trump is not going to decide whether my child is put in danger by going back to school. I don't think she's alone in that. I think that this is even worse for the administration. So, is Ghislaine Maxwell, Grizzly Maxwell, is she suicidal? I guess I could look. Boy, I have some not nice things to say about that, so I won't say them. Okay, Maritza, Florida topped 15,300 infected today. DeSantis came out minutes ago and said school is a go. What will stop this madness? Well, I'll read on schools reopening, but I've read on them recently, and basically what I got was it's going to be hit and miss who goes back and who, what states decide to go back and what states don't. And all of these kids are going to go back to school, and it absolutely is going to spread, and it's going to make things worse. And there are a bunch of schools that are going to have to close back down again. It's a mess, and they shouldn't be doing it. And I know how this is decimating the economy. I understand that. But they're making it worse by trying to do half measures. This isn't something you can do half measures about. Every time I've read on this, it's like my guides have a bullhorn, and they're just yelling, stay home, don't go out, don't absolutely wear a mask, wipe everything down, do not do any of this by half. So just on and on, they're just adamant. So, okay, and do. All right, you guys are talking to each other, so I'm just looking for any more questions. Sorry, not my birthday, says Allison. Oh, well, happy early birthday for your next one. Okay. Ricky, oh, I'm sorry, Autumn. I didn't know you were vegan. Try some tomato soup. Yes, I have some very nice tomato soup. Dave, are Trump and DeVos trying to harm children to punish the parents? No. They're they are both raging narcissists, and they are cruel, and they don't care. It isn't that they want to hurt parents by having bad things happen to the kids. It's that they want the economy to come back. And DeVos is always looking for an excuse for there to be vouchers, for public schools to be completely defunded. I mean, that's what she was saying when she went on the news here this weekend. What she was saying was, if schools won't reopen, they're getting paid to reopen. So if they're not going to reopen, then the parents should get that money so they can make choices about where to send their kids, blah, blah. She's just pushing her own stuff. They're tone deaf. They have no empathy. They're completely selfish. This isn't straight up cruelty. Cruelty is a byproduct of their absolute selfishness. Okay, Kat saying ginger tea, lemon, and honey. I'm not ill. I'm not ill. I'm okay. I was eating a protein bar, so maybe it went down the wrong pipe, but I'm okay. I'm okay, but thank you. Oh, Kay Nelson, hi Autumn. Love the emojis, those are cute. Hello. Kay Nelson, please remind everyone to please hit the like button and subscribe. It does support the channel. Thank you. I could not say it better myself. Thank you. Suicide what? Got that. Okie dokie. Marilyn's asking, did Grizzly Maxwell turn herself in as part of a plea deal? Copy. Paste. Save. Okay. Oh, when Biden, there was a question, when Biden, where was it? Oh, okay. Jean is asking, when Biden gets in, will he overturn the Stone pardon or commutation? I'll ask. I don't know that he would, I think he would send it back to courts, but I don't know the legal logistics of that, but I'll ask. Okay, hieroglyphic, hello. It's been a while. Apparently, Dumpty went to Walter Reed Hospital billed as a veteran's photo op, true or medical check. I think there was something wrong. I'll ask, but my understanding is that he had his hand wrapped in something, or he was holding something. I'm not quite sure. Okay, and Daniel, hello Daniel, will Mitt Romney be offered a job in the Biden administration? He doesn't need one. He's happy where he is. Well, let me add it to the list and see if I get to that today. It's just that every time I read on him, he is the most placid human being I've ever read on. He's just, he's happy where he is. He has his family, he has his marriage, he has his religion, he has his job. He is clueless on many things, but he's not aware or interested in changing that. He's I don't know, he's like a willfully ignorant Latter-day Saints Buddha. He's just completely at peace. And it's hard to read on. Because he's totally fine. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway. What? Will any Trump administration people suffer consequences of their grifting and perfidy? Well, I was reading this morning, well, it's kind of broad. So I would need something more specific, I'm afraid. Bismuth's saying they should be charged with manslaughter. Yeah, I believe it. Ricky, what will Trump's first week in prison be like? Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's got to go to the top because that was asked yesterday and I didn't get to it. So that's going right to the top. Oh, I was trying to say, I was reading this morning about basically you can use public records to go through a lot of the money flowing through Turnberry, Trump's golf course, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, at most, maybe somebody should have spent like absolutely everything, maybe 50 million or something, and there have been hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars flowing through there. And it's just screaming money laundering. So yeah, I don't know why couldn't Scotland do something about that? Why couldn't Scotland? Because there's someone in the Scottish, I think it's in the Scottish Parliament, who's actually questioning that now and is trying to get some records. It's like, could you please, I don't know, could you move along with that, please? Could you have gotten around to it? That would have been awesome. Okay, thanks. Jean. Hello, Jean. Hi, Autumn. I love your readings. Your voice calms me. My daughter is home schooling. I understand. I'm glad my voice calms you, and I'm glad you're able to homeschool. My best friend homeschools all of her kids too. It's hard. It's hard. What do you think, sweetie? Okay, Mike. Hello, Mike. Everything is going to be all right because it already is. That's one way to look at it. Yeah, I like the optimism. I like the glass is half full. Doll, you are precious. Yes, you are. He's got his extra long tail just wrapped all the way up over the top of his head. It's very cute. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, I'm in trouble with the watch. Okay. Hi, AMC. I'm guessing that's someone here, and that's not the movie theater chain. Although if you want to say hi to AMC, the movie theater chain, go right ahead. All right, what is going on here? Okay, Bismo, we're never going to get this under control until under this administration. I'm afraid you're right. I'm afraid you're right on that, which is just appalling. The damage is just extraordinary. Kay Nelson, laugh. We all want to nurture you. You are so loved. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kay Nelson. And I like the pumpkins, too. Okay, Marilyn, Kirshner? Kirshner said he can take back the commutation. Kirshner? Who's Kirshner? Kushner, I know, but Kirshner, oh, that name sounds familiar. Other than Mia Kirshner, who's an actress. Kirshner? I'll just put that down there. Maybe it'll come back. Marilyn, just say no to Mittens. He's too right-wing for me. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes. Crystal Tarot Apothecary, hello. Can you do a reading on Ivanka? Because I feel something's coming up with her somehow. Okay, you got it. Maritza, how do the Republicans feel refusing to go to the RNC due to the illness? How do they feel? A lot better than they're going to feel if they went. So, I'm not quite sure. Autumn has a Zen-like voice. Oh, thank you. Autumn, you talk so sweet to your kitties. Oh, thank you. Holly Booth. Ricky, Brother Romney is definitely like that. I'm a Latter-day Saint. There you go. Tuck. Hello, Tuck. Will Mary Trump niece be protected, be able to speak soon? I haven't had anything negative come up. When I read on her. Yeah, she's said her piece, and that's kind of it. I'm not picking up anything. Sorry, that's just what I've got. But do check with other readers. I've never once have I ever said, oh yes, I'm always right. I'm not. No reader's 100% right. I'm reading on the collective energy, and there is nothing that I do. Oh, Glenn Kushner, MSNBE. I'm guess NBC, probably NBC. Glenn Kushner, NBC. Well, let's hope. Teresa, I wish it was half full. Maybe it is. I just need to remember what I did with it. I like that. I like that a lot. The one I like is to an optimist, the glass is half full. To a pessimist, the glass is half empty. To an engineer, the glass is twice as big as it needs to be. To which I added, to an engineer's wife, the glass is fine, leave it alone. But I like that. I need to remember where it is. Okay. MSNBC podcast, Glenn Kushner, lawyer commenting on the commutation of Stone's sentence, said it's okay for Biden to remove it. Hey. Copy. Paste. Save. Okay, I better get going. It's already 1:30. Okay. Glenn Kushner is a former federal prosecutor with a channel. Thank you, Lucienne. I love your name. Okay, I think is that it? Is it Glenn Kushner? Okay. My glass is always full, even on bad days when I'm crying still a full glass. Oh, Watergrove, that's sad and sweet and wonderful. You guys are awesome. I must have done something very, very good to deserve you guys, let me tell you. The question is, what on earth did you do that you deserve me? Ugh. All right, hang on. Oh, I'm trying to get these cards out of here before the smell of the sage. I just started leaving my sage inside the box because the energy's been so bad. And this poor cat's trying to sleep here, and he's gonna get woozy from the smell. Maritza, you are a sweetheart. I love your reading. Thank you. Okay, so got the old cards out. We're still using the. I didn't put the link in. There was a link yesterday to this deck. Is it Gilded Tarot Royale, something like that? Eesh, gosh, I should have brought that forward. Yes, Mercury retrograde ending. Thank you. Could not happen soon enough. Oh, uncover the news. Breaking news: ship on fire at the San Diego base. Ow. Ow. At least it's not patchouli. Oh yeah, Dave, I'm not a patchouli person. Mike, pull a card. Will Trump even make it to the election? Knight of Swords, active investigations in his face. There. Oh, back up a little. Back up a little. There we go. Knight of Swords. Okay, Nelson. Autumn, we're the lucky ones. Thank you for your many hours you give us. Oh, thank you, Kay Nelson. You guys are so great. You're so great. You have such wonderful energy here. And seriously, thank you. There's Linda, Jean, Keisha right there. Kathy W, Noelle. I mean, we have such great moderators who make this possible. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's YouTube. It could be so ugly if you weren't here. Okay, 30. All right, so we're at 31 in a bit. Let's start with question from yesterday. 31. Okay, 31:30. What will Trump's first week in prison be like? I may, Jean. I may. Let me focus on this. Okay. I'm trying to reach out my energy. Closing my eyes here for a second. So sorry, I can't see the chat. What will Trump's first week in prison be like? You know, I've read on this before, and basically what I got was that for the entire family, losing their money would be worse than prison. How sad is that? All right, his little face is covered, so I'm going to turn on the lights. Empress. All right, well, that is the card of, that's the card I get for America. Okay. Seven of Cups, Trump's lies. Nine of Wands, the people who protected Trump. Judgment coming down. 10 of Wands, burden. King of Pentacles for his corruption. I'm getting judgment, but I'm not getting justice. I've never picked up that he's going to jail. I just wanted to, but I definitely wanted to ask because things can change, or, you know, different ways. It's weird. Sometimes the way that you phrase things can really make a huge difference. Move that out of the way. Okay. Let's see here. Trump prison. Okay, Lovers, Hierophant, Five of Pentacles. People are suffering, and there's his love affair with Putin, on all of Putin's money and the oligarchs' money. Government finding out. I think they're going to take his money, but I'm not picking up jail for him. Still. But why not? I guess that's the real question. Looney bin. Okay, the World. All right, so a serious ending. Okay. Two of Pentacles, unsteady energy. Seven of Swords, the Thief card. Sun. What I'm getting, and this is weird, it's going to take so long to unravel all of everything he's done wrong that he really is going to be in legal purgatory. where it's courtroom to lawyer's office to lawyer's office to courtroom to lawyer's office to courtroom to lawyer's office. And you'd think, oh, well, if that's the case, he'll just have his lawyers go and he'll go. But no, it feels like he's stuck in that, and cases coming against him. And I do think they start confiscating the laundered money. But it takes so long, because what he's done is so vast. And they're just going to keep coming. It's just going to keep coming. More and more and more and more and more. Nine of Pentacles. Okay. Well, that's the fortunate one. Does that mean he's going to be fortunate? Ace of Wands. No, there's and Five of Swords, insult to injury. Action taken, insult to injury. Queen of Wands. I swear in this deck, sometimes I haven't used this much before, but this is making me think of a cattle prod. Zzzt. Which I don't believe in it being used on cattle, but I'm saying it's like someone taking action. Insult to injury on top of it, and then just a it's just going to take so long. So is this fortunate one? I'm curious. Is this the fortunate one? Is that he still has this fantastic lifestyle, and he's just going to enjoy living the high life ongoing? Three of Swords, that would be a no. Stone said the court tax rulings will open Trump up to 4,000 prosecutors. No, not really. They'd have to have reason, they'd have to have standing, he'd have to have businesses there. But yeah, prosecutors across the world. Queen of Pentacles, the Moon, Three of Wands, Ten of Swords, Strength. Oh, it's going to cut deep. It's going to cut deep. All the money he got from overseas, thought they were fine. He thought he was fine, but it's like they're pulling the money out of his hands, Ivanka's hands, Junior's hands, Eric's hands. They're like pulling the money away, and they're like upset about that because it's ill-gotten gains. They're gonna be. It's not gonna be pretty. Well, I've got to ask, because I'm having trouble imagining that he would actually. Won't he just stay home? Just have the lawyers do it? Or is he actually going to have to go to court for all this stuff? Oh, T. Jones, one of my favorite things is an autumn breeze. You are just as enjoyable as you help us breeze through this political season, and we get a kitty fix. Thank you, T. Jones. That's very sweet of you. Justice, justice. Chariot, Knight of Cups. Oh, it's going to come quickly, too. Basically, he sets foot out of office, and it's going to come down on his head. Two of Wands, it's communication. In this deck, it looks like it's a little bit of travel, but it's usually a card of communication. It's Six of Wands is victory, Seven of Pentacles, fruits of labor. Country's going to recover. The country, please put that in all capital letters. Write it down and hang it on your bathroom mirror if you need to remind yourself every day. The country is going to recover. We will. So let's just hold on to that positive energy. Yeah, there's he's gonna be in. He's not gonna be able to relax. He's not gonna be able to. They're gonna be taking his stuff away. Every day is gonna be another. They're arguing here. This judge has said, Autumn, Lucienne is saying, in NYSD alone there are 6,000 outstanding cases on him. He can't possibly show up for all of them. Yeah, but I was trying to figure out if he is, was he just going to still live luxury, it's like, oh, he's lost some money, but no, it actually looks like it's going to be awful. It's going to be awful and stressful, and it's like it feels like every day there's something else. There's a new case that has some kind of merit to it. It's not going to get thrown out. Let's go on to Mueller, because I also, this dovetails, we're at 41 and a bit. This dovetails into, is Trump going to be indicted for obstruction of justice? All right, save. Okay, so actually it is actually more, because I think we need to ask specifically about that. And then we'll ask about the Mueller thing. Okay. All right, so is Trump going to be indicted? I think this is a two-part, indicted and convicted of obstruction of justice. If Trump goes to prison or a mental institution, will he still have Secret Service protection? That's a good question, Susan, but I would imagine yes, because then it becomes we think of prisons as, they're keeping people in there to keep us safe out here, but it's also they're also responsible for keeping the people inside safe, and there's not a warden out there who wants to have it on his record that the former president of the United States died on his watch. I'm not getting prison, but please prove me wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm never 100% correct. I do the best I can, that's all. But boy, prove me wrong, please. Please prove me wrong. And he goes to jail. That made me perfectly, I'm totally good with that. Totally good with that. So, will Trump be indicted here and convicted of obstruction of justice? Will President Donald Trump, or former President Donald Trump, will he be indicted for obstruction of justice? Will he be indicted? Will Donald J. Trump, J for genius, be indicted for obstruction of justice? Okay. Will Donald Trump be convicted? Will Donald Trump be convicted of obstruction of justice? Will Donald Trump be convicted? This doesn't feel, the energy here is a lot stronger than the energy here. Team Muse, criminal cases will require his attendance. Civil cases, not unless he has to personally testify, and often court will accept an affidavit, just like he did for Mueller. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, there's going to be temperance, and this feels big. It's not just that it's major arcana. It's that it's the powers of the presidency. As soon as he's gone, as soon as the Democrats are in power, they are going to slam some laws in place to stop a whole bunch of the things that Trump did. A lot of things that used to be kind of norms are now going to be laws. And yeah, that's going to get pretty extreme too. But is Donald J. Trump going to be indicted for obstruction of justice? And we're starting out with the world. So that's the end of the presidency. And that's just the end. It's not anything good or bad. I mean, he's not going to be president forever. Okay, 9 of Wands. That's the Republicans who've been protecting him up until the end. 7 of Cups for his the way he was talking about Flynn. This is the card of nostalgia, and the way he's always been on Flynn's side. Strangely loyal to Flynn. And then we have the Knight of Cups and the 2 of Wands. Well, that's interesting. I'm not getting justice so much as I'm getting a communication of, like, they communicate this is what they're going to do. Unless it's like one of those 2-part readings. Part of it is that I use way too many cards when I read. It's not way too many for me, but I go through more cards than any other reader I know. And it's like I get maybe it's because I write, novels or something. I don't know. But it's like I get part of the story, and then it's like there's more. Will Trump leave the country? It doesn't feel like it. All right, so we've got, that is, will he be indicted? So that would be quite possibly. Will he be convicted? Donald J. Trump, 10 of Pentacles. Oh, he's going to lose so much money. And look, the rats who are going to be jumping ship, grabbing their money before they jump ship. Queen of Cups. 9 of Cups. I'm not getting obstruction of justice. I'm getting, this is the merchant card. This is the business practices. Hermit, Ace of Pentacles. He has to find new ways to make money. Because he's left and being drawn to how that hermit, the way his robes look so ripped and torn, and oh my gosh, will we actually learn what Trump's actual skin tone is? Gosh. Somebody actually did a Photoshop of Trump, and it wasn't like, oh, making him look like a clown. No. They actually just gave him very, accurate skin tone and got rid of that dead ferret on his head. And did he look older? Yeah, but he looked so much better. Seriously. Mike is saying Trump is nothing the least of our problems. I understand, Mike, but that's kind of what we're here to read on. We're here to read on all kind of political stuff. It's really what it's, Sunday, July 12th, daily live political tarot readings. This is kind of what we do. So, if he wants to write the thing is, though, with him trying to is that making money? Is he going to try to write a book? Try to cash in on celebrity? 3 of Cups. That's a celebration. That's the card of, spectacle. In this deck, specifically, it's spectacle and celebration. 8 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles. 2 of Swords. oh my gosh, I'm actually getting that this guy's going to try to have like speaking engagements that he turns into like almost like the rallies were, and he does write a book. That feels like him, like he's autographing books or something. But I'm being drawn to this, there's a great big spider web up here. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see, can you see the spider web? Let me hold it as close as I can, as steady as I can. It's kind of hard to see, but up here in the corner, there's a spider web, and that's what I'm being drawn to. That it's not the success he wants it to be, but he's still, you know, art of the deal, art of the comeback, art of the whatever. But this is the card of decision, but it basically whatever money he does make go to his creditors. But as a very pathetic figure, it feels like he's going to try to, you know, have a book ghostwritten, and he's going to try to do some speaking engagements, and would it be written into the Sharpie pen? I know, I hear you, Ricky. So while he is in legal purgatory, I think he's going to be a very disliked, ignored, often ignored, ridiculed person. And that is what I'm absolutely feeling until the day he dies. High Priestess. He's still going to keep his secrets. He's also going to keep insulting any woman who dared to not... Basically, Trump's an incel. Let's face it. He's an incel. He anyway, I'm not going to go more into that. But Four of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. Yeah, because it's all about the money. All right, that's that. From beginning to end, legal purgatory. They're going to take away his money. And it's just going to be day after day. So much losing. So much losing. You're going to get sick of losing. There's going to be so much losing. Oh. Dave is saying if I ever got close to Trump, I would something on him. Dave, you don't want to do that. Seriously. You do not want to get your privates anywhere near him. You don't know what you would catch. Even like being like 6 feet away, you don't know. Okay, what's going to happen to the kids? That's a good question. And I've got some other 54. Kids. Trump's kids, just a few. You know what, I'm just going to do Ivanka and Junior. The kids. Ivanka. Oh, I'm feeling like I should do a few. Kushner. Ivanka, Kushner Jr. Okay. Kushner Jr. Magician. They were raised to be thieves. Ivanka. Seven of Wands, defensive position. Three of Wands, which you put out in the world. It's going to come back to you. Ship's coming in. Queen of Cups. She's going to, if any of them are going to be protected, it's going to be her. That's the whole thing. The whole family will fall on their swords to protect the princess. I've had that all along. Kushner, Two of Swords, Temperance, Hanging Man. Not good things are going to happen to Kushner. Not good things. It's feels much more criminal than just much more criminal than say civil. The energy around his future is feels worse than any of the, like, even junior, but let's see. Merchant for junior, Page of Pentacles, Death. Yeah, the money's not going to, the business, yeah, he's going to be left with nothing. Mike saying Kushner may become president somehow. Mike, I'm starting to kind of think you might be a troll. No, he's not going to become president. Okay, Kathy, astrology, Roger Stone's chart. I don't have it handy. But anyway, Junior. Merchant, he's the son of this whole thing, but that's going to come to a blistering end. Okay. So Lindsey Graham, 56. Lindsey Graham is calling Mueller to testify. How's that going to go? First of all, I want to know why. What? Lindsey, you feeling okay? Does he think he's going to oh, I'm sorry. Is it turning into an issue? I'm so sorry. Blocked my, thank you. Thank you. Again, our troll slayer's keeping us safe. Thank you so much. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, Lindsey. What's going on, Lindsey? Did you fall and hit your pretty little head? Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to reach for the energy here. Lindsey, why are you calling? Does anybody know? Has he said why? Lindsey wants Mueller to testify? Or does he think that because Mueller is older and he's not as, like during his the last time he was in front of Congress, too good kitty, Mueller seemed old. He was slow and, Regina saying Lindsey Graham said if there's a request from the Dems to invite Mueller, then he's willing to do it. He's not calling Mueller by himself. Okay, all right, I was going to say, but I wonder if it's because he's willing to go through it because Mueller isn't, the way he speaks isn't sharp as it used to be. I think Mueller's a hero. I think Mueller will go down in history as a hero. I think he will go down as being one of the people in this era who really stood up for what was right. Of course, we wish that he would do, he would have done more, but all right, to yell and bully Mueller. Yeah, okay. So how's the thing with Mueller gonna go? All right, Mueller, how's it gonna go? Are you gonna come testify? Is Mueller going to come testify? How's that gonna go in the Senate? He's a nice man. He's not a teddy bear, but he's a nice man. Let the poor man stay home. That's what I'm getting. I'm feeling very protective of him. You're fanning the cards down to a science. Thank you, Alexandra. It really does. Mueller and Finman, two absolutely standout heroes of our age, true Mims. I'm feeling very protective of him. He feels like, you know, neither of my grandfathers are still alive. And I don't know that I ever felt as protective of either of them as I do now, just because I was so young when they both left the earth. But Left the passed on. I shouldn't say left the earth. It sounds like, yes, they've gone to the stars. No. No. I know I read tarot cards on YouTube, but no, I'm not that. I'm not that far out. Mueller recently wrote an editorial in the Washington Post in response to the Stone news. Yes, I did read that. I did see that. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to. I read the article about it, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I will. Let the poor man stay at home. All right, Mueller testifying. Republican's going to bully him. 7 of Pentacles. This is fruits of labor. This is work done, and he's going to rely pretty heavily on the report he did. 4 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, Sun, King of Pentacles. I'm trying to think when the next Mercury retrograde is in September. It's like the second full week of, it's basically the middle of September. Or just before the middle of September. The Mueller report was released on a Mercury retrograde. And I believe he even testified during a Mercury retrograde. Which means that information will have to be, you'll have to go back to it again, or it'll have to be revisited, or redone, or something along those lines. And I really don't want Mueller to go up there again during a Mercury retrograde. But if that doesn't happen until September, maybe sometime this month in August. Any idea? I guess they're not really saying when it's going to be. I guess they haven't worked that out yet, is my guess. But, you know, his work is done. He went home to his wife, who he loves very much. That's communication right in the center. 2 of Wands, being asked to come back. And then shining a light on the King of Pentacles is what I got. Trump comes up in a certain different cards depending on what aspect we're talking about. And when he comes up as the King of Pentacles, it's a card of corruption, because in the Rider-Waite deck, the vines around him can be looked at. This one's quite bright and nice, but in the Rider-Waite deck, depending on how you look at it, it could also be like the weed of crime that bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. So, I think this one might go a little bit better. But you know, are the Republicans going to look bad for this, or is Trump going to look bad? Are the Republicans going to look bad? Is Trump going to look bad? I'm wondering if Lindsay's trying to get back at Trump by having Mueller testify in the Senate. Who knows? Again, we're back to 7 of Pentacles, fruits of labor, the Mueller report. It's going to pretty much just stick to it. Republicans are not going to look great. Tower, Hierophant, Fool, that they have been backing a corrupt fool, and it's going to damage them. This is not looking good for the Republicans. That's really bad. That's really bad. Trump, Empress, Queen of Swords, 9 of Wands. America is going to see, basically this is going to give more power behind investigators going after him. And the 9 of Wands, this is all along, this has been the card of the Republicans protecting Trump and feeling beaten up and traumatized by protecting Trump. But this feels more like that trauma's more falling on Trump himself. Yeah, but that's going to be, I am, yes, Gilded Tarot deck. I forgot to put the link in, right after this, I'm going to put the link in the description box. This is going to be absolutely must-see TV. The day this happens, unless it's scheduled for the middle of the afternoon, I'm rescheduling for the evening, because this is going to be must-see, and it's going to go really, really badly for the Republicans. Okay. I think it's called karma. I hear you. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get through just a couple more questions here quickly before I go on to answering your astrology questions and going over the astrology of the inauguration, so like what the next 4 years are going to be like for the next president. And I also have the transit charts for the U.S. on the 1st of 2021 to see what the year 2021 is going to be like for the U.S. So, but let's see. We're at 67. What's calling to me? All right. Walter Reed. Okay. Trump went to Walter Reed. Some people say it would, I mean, to some extent, it would have to be veterans photo op. I don't think so. It would have to, and if it was, if there was any chance it could be just a photo op with veterans, the White House would have pushed that 100%. I think that you're giving them ideas on how to cover that up, because there are extensive medical facilities in the White House. And having to go to Walter Reed, like, what does Walter Reed have that they don't have in the White House? And from what I hear, there's not a lot. So I'm just trying to think here. I mean, I would think it would almost have to be something like great big scanners. Like maybe he, maybe he was holding his hand, or he had a cloth over his hand because he fell. MRI, yeah, Marilyn. I'm thinking maybe it would almost have to be the MRI or something. He falls a lot, and the way his right arm was moving on its own during that one ceremony, and so why did Trump go to Walter Reed? Trump's health. The world, that's not good. Death card, King of Swords, Devil. There was fear of him having the kind of dementia that didn't his father die of some form of dementia? Thank you, Linda. Another one of our fantastic moderator. Thank you. His vices are catching up to him. Page of Pentacles, Hierophant. Well, his the people looking after him medically are keeping a lot of things quiet. Frontal temporal dementia. It's possible, Marilyn. But I don't think it's bad enough that, let me see. Is it bad enough that he could use it as like a legal excuse? Prevalent theory. Oh, I understand that. I do not want this man to die. And I do not want him to come down with some horrible illness. One, because I'm just not that kind of person. But two, because I want him to be held fully accountable. Thank you, Mems. Paralysis, stands and walks funny. Well, standing and walking funny is the lifts and the girdle are not doing him any favors. And who told him that wearing a tie down to his knees was going to make him look thinner? It just looks ridiculous. Addictions, maybe? Yep. So, is he sick enough that he's going to be able to use some of these as like legal excuses to not have to be held accountable? Queen of Cups. Oh, that's interesting. That feels like Ivanka, which makes me wonder if that feels very much like Ivanka. I wonder if he's going to be willing to take some of the hits. He's going to have to be willing to take some of the hits in order to get Ivanka off. 9 Pentacles, 3 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles. Well, yeah, like Manafort, he's going to play up the woe is me to communicate it's kind of this unsteadiness, but really what he cares about is his money. But a lot of what they've got him for, it's paper. It's all on paper. You overvalued your hotels, you undervalued them for taxes, you overvalued them for banks, you laundered all this money, what you've done to be a rich man is the ships coming in, what you've put out there coming back to you. So it feels like he might try a little bit, but it's not too bad. But the whole thing's going to be protect Ivanka. Protect Ivanka, and I think that's part of, I think that's a good part of what's going to happen there. All right. Well, I'm so sorry. There are other questions. I'm going to move them to tomorrow's. I'll put them down in the description box for tomorrow, and you can just copy and paste them up into the chat tomorrow if it's something you still want me to read on. Sorry I didn't get to everything today, but I do want to talk about this is one of the ugliest, the inaugural astrology chart for the next president. So if the next president's first term, the chart for that term is one of the ugliest charts I've ever seen. It just is. So let's move on to that. If you're not interested in astrology, you don't want to hear about it's like, okay, I've had enough of that. I understand. I hope you have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow to do more tarot readings. But I'm going to pull up ye old clipboard with ye old Sharpie. I don't know what kind of Sharpies that Trump is using, but they're like all black. So I've been using Sharpies, and every time I pull this out, I think of Trump using his Sharpie, and it's like, no, but this is different, and this is mine. Oh, he's awful. Okay, all right. This is the it cut off when it printed. It cut off the date, but this is the January 2021 inauguration chart. Okay, so if Trump has a mental defect, what's his cabinet's excuse? Good point. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to walk through this. I'm going to walk through the chart, and we're just going to pull the keywords off of this nice basic thing I made for you. It's over on Patreon. It's one of the first posts up there right at the moment, or you can always search under astrology. It's free. You don't have to be a patron. You know, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, and this is the basic chart. All right, for anybody who's sort of new around here, that it says like this is number 1 right here. This is the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, but it's also this wedge here is called a house. Okay, this is right here. This is the house of Aries. This is the Earth right in the middle. So going straight out from the Earth into these areas, you would find the constellation of Aries here, constellation of Taurus. It's not exact because they overlap some. Alexander already printed it. Awesome. But that's what this is. That's why it says like this is Cancer. It's because the constellations for Cancers here, Leo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Okay, it's not exact, but roughly. So they broke it down, and it worked out that 30 degrees of the circle, because there are 360 degrees in a circle, so each 30 degrees is one of these signs. And these are their houses. So this wedge is Sagittarius, and it's the 9th house. We had to start counting somewhere, and it makes a lot of sense to start with Aries. Why they have it, why Aries starts here, I don't know. But I'm just going with how it's done in modern charts. For example, Sagittarius here, it's the 9th house. It's ruled by Jupiter. That's the symbol for Jupiter. It says Jupiter there, and it is a fire sign. Okay, there can be water signs, air signs, earth signs, but it is a fire sign. It's the 9th house, the house of travel and law. And the key word, the key phrase would be we think, as opposed to Gemini down here, which is directly opposite, which the 3rd house of communication, which is I think. Okay, these things beneath this middle ascendant descendant, these are more the personal I feel, I love, I serve. Above, it's more the we. This is partnerships. We are, we have, we think, we achieve. Humanitarianism, we love, right? And there are some specific keywords down here, and these keywords for the planets, okay? So this is the basic chart, and if you understand this, you can use it as a cheat sheet to look at any modern Western astrology chart. Okay? Whew. Now the first thing, when you look at any modern astrology chart, you don't have to know any astrology. You can just look at the lines between the lines in the middle, and these are aspects between the different planets. Okay, and you can, and the first thing you can do is just look. First thing, just look and say, okay, is there more blue? Is there more red? Overall, is there a mix of the two? The blue tends to be probably easier aspects. The red would have more energy, maybe a little more friction. And looking at the inauguration chart for the next president, so his next 4 years in office, oh my goodness, that's a whole lot of squares. That's a whole lot of red. That's a whole lot of red. He does, and I agree, Biden does have a load to take on as soon as he's sworn in. Absolutely. Okay? So, okay. So, let's just pull some keywords. Okay, so let's look. Here we have, let's start here, because there's an awful lot up here, because it's always good to start with the sun. It's usually the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. Those are the big three. Matter of fact, when you go to write out in astrology forums, you'll often see people write they have their name, and then they'll put 3 astrology symbols, and those are their sun, their moon, and their rising sign. Okay, so those are the big 3. That's where you start. So the sun here, which makes sense, it's always, you know, in the same area this time of year. It's actually just moved into Aquarius. Okay, so right here, 0 degrees 52 Aquarius. It's in the 10th house. All right. Now, because this isn't taking place on the equator in a specific spot, you'll notice that this angle, this great big thicker line here, isn't straight up and down like it is on here. So the houses are not equal, but that's just, trust me, that's just that's just how it's more accurate this way as to what houses they're in. Because this, of course, this spins during the day. Every day it goes around once. Because the Earth is spinning. All right, so the 10th house, this sun is in the 10th house. And the 10th house is the house of Capricorn. It's easy to remember Capricorn because it looks like usually looks like some kind of luxury brand logo. 10th house, career and status we achieve. These are the workaholics. It's also the 3rd earth sign. The 3 earth signs, you can think of it since it starts here. Taurus grows things. Virgo crafts things. Capricorn makes them expensive. If you'll see people's Instagrams, because of course Capricorn would be on Instagram, not Facebook or even Twitter. No. They're on Instagram. And you'll see a lot of fresh flowers and muted colors and achievements and things like that. They're workaholics. It's ruled by Saturn. Okay, so it's in the house of Capricorn, but I said that it was in the sun itself is in Aquarius. Capricorn finds the value. Exactly, Kat. Capricorn's great. I love Capricorn. I've got Saturn on my ascendant. I love Capricorn. I guess I feel free enough to kind of poke fun a little bit, just like I poke fun at Scorpios, and I am one. So Aquarius is here. It rules the 11th house of friends and humanitarianism. We love. It is an air sign. So just like Gemini I think is probably the most famous air sign because it's the quickness of thought. It's the quickness of, only with Aquarius it's often the quickness of, say, technology or communicating across technology. And it's humanitarianism, but Aquarius is the water bearer. So you'll find a lot of Aquarian therapists. And so they're giving an equal amount of water to everyone. And it's not like Cancer energy ruled by the moon, the emotional, the big mom of the zodiac, where, you know, I'm just like, even just for Fuzzhead here, I give him anything. I buy their food before I buy any for my own. There's just no question. And I care so deeply. I know there, you know, some people are like, they're just animals. No, these are my friends, and we've gone through travails, together and what have you. So that's that I've got a Cancer moon anyway, but that's how, and there are a lot of other people who feel that way about their pets. So that's more this Cancer energy. This Aquarius thing is more giving money to charity. Or like how 10% of all the income that comes into this channel goes to feedingamerica.org, which supplies food to food banks. So it's helping as many people, but it's a little bit more impersonal. But it's definitely about helping people. Oh, you okay? Now, it's not unusual because there are specific dates there's a specific date when the inauguration is. So the fact that it's in Aquarius is not unusual. The fact that it's basically high noon means it's going to be up near the midheaven. That's what the MC is. It's the midheaven. So it's not unusual, but it is something to keep in mind, because if it was just sitting out here by itself and it wasn't interacting with anything else, it would just be, we've had it before, but nothing special. Whereas I think there's so much energy just pouring in and out of this that it's going to be called on even more, if that makes sense. I have an Aquarian sun, a Capricorn sun. Both are great young men. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys don't think I was just being silly. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I was the two longest relationships I've had in my life. The first one was with a Capricorn. Amazing sculptor. Amazing. Worked his tail off and made the most beautiful art you'll ever see. And so I just want you guys to know. There are good and bad sides to every sign. And sometimes I do make some flippant comments to help people remember things. So, Lord, so I was just bragging. Well, good. You should brag. That's good. That's good. We like moms who brag. I should be a workaholic. I understand. All right. So we start there. Then we go to the moon. Now this is different. The moon is, because this is going counterclockwise, the moon here is at 2903, which means it's right here, which means it's at the end of Aries. Okay, so this is going to be the emotional nature, because the moon is our emotions. It says right here. The sun is our self. And actually, maybe it would help if I just write a couple of those on here. Okay, so up here we have this, goodness, we've got, okay, so this is at 15, that's at 24. Let's make this a little clearer. This is at basically 1. That's at like 4. Oh, I see. That's at 4. That's at 7. That's at 19. Okay, so I think we can see a little bit better what's up there. These are right on top of each other. That's pretty close. Okay. And then over here we have the moon at 29. Mars is at 6 of Taurus. So here, I make sure I got this right, 29. So that's what 7 for. Yeah, 7 for Mars. They're exactly the same. That's why I'm getting confused. They're literally only 4 minutes away from each other. Ha ha, that's going to be interesting. That's something we need to talk about. These two are in exactly the same place. They're only 4 minutes apart. It isn't even like 4 degrees. No, it's 4 minutes. They could not be any more on top of each other. Mars, Uranus. We'll talk about that. And then you can ignore this. But this is something, it's called Lilith. It's an asteroid. Don't worry about it. right now. Ascendant is in Taurus. Okay, so let's put up some keywords here, and then we can look at how things are interacting with each other. Okay? All right. Up here, we have Mercury, which is communications. Next, and there is Jupiter, which is like a 4. Even though they are the 5th and 6th planets, the symbol for Jupiter looks like a 4, and the symbol for Saturn looks like a 5, sort of. Kind of like a 5, 4, 5. They're actually the 5th and 6th, but if you're having trouble remembering those two symbols, that can sometimes help. Pluto, this is PL, and Uranus was discovered by a man named Herschel. So you've got the H in the symbol. And Neptune, of course, with his trident, god of the sea. Okay? So they aren't as, the only one that looks kind of weird is Mercury. I hope that helps somebody. All right. Jupiter, how did I put it here? Yeah, okay. Optimism. Luck. Expansion. And right there is Saturn, which is going to be structure, time, and limitations. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing. Certainly a few years ago, but even now, there was this grouping of actors and actresses who kind of came out of the woodwork, as it were. And a lot of them were in, say, the Marvel movies, or please tell us what this could mean on Inauguration Day. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. These actors, it was like a grouping of them, and they became really the big household names, to the extent where it almost seems like there are a lot of other very good actors and actresses who are working, and they're younger or older or what have you, but they didn't hit quite as hard. And if you go and you look in the charts, many of them are right around the same age, and they have that lucky, so they were born in the early 80s, and they have that lucky Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Some of them, certainly even have it in like their 10th house of status and working, and it really helps boost them up in the world. So there's about a 4-degree difference, but again, we've got this, it's the Jupiter with the optimism and luck, expansion, which sometimes Jupiter on its own can be a little bit of a blowhard, like promising more than it gives, but Saturn right there, bringing things into form, time, structure. Some people there were keywords for planets way back when, and some of them didn't make sense. For instance, Saturn, it ruled time, it ruled gravity, once they figured out gravity was, it ruled bones. And it's like all these different things. It's like, well, they don't have anything in common with each other until we went into space and we discovered that gravity and bones have a whole lot to do with each other. So while some people can say, oh, it's restrictive, it's also incredibly organizing and brings things into form, and you've got your luck and optimism right on top of that. When you've got a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, that's very fortunate. Okay? So this is 4 degrees. It's kind of a wide. We like them to be a little closer than that, but that's not bad, Because is it 4? It says like actually it's only like 3. Yeah, it's actually just 3.5 degrees apart. So this is still pretty much a conjunction. So that's fortunate. Okay, so we've got Saturn there. We've got the Sun, which is it's going to be our collective sense of self. Pluto, which is power. It's going to be power and intensity. Some people call it the upper octave of Mars, the god of war, taking action. Well, Pluto is the upper octave of that, where you get like plutonium. You can have plants or you can have bombs. It's up to you. But it's going to be very powerful and it's going to be very intense. And then Venus is nearby, which is what and how we love. We love. All right. So in right up here, that's, you've got all of these right in that little area. That is 15 to 15, that's 30 degrees, because each one sign is 30 degrees. So if you're going from 15 Capricorn to 18 Aquarius, that's 15 to 15 plus 3, almost 4, let's say 4, 34 degrees. All right, 34 degrees. Look at all of this empty space. Look at that, all of that empty space. That's potent. Yes, yes to plants, no to bombs, yes. Okay. Over here, this is Neptune. Neptune is art, fiction, spirituality. Okay. This is going to be something pretty positive. Okay, so I'm just going to put this up here on its own because it is kind of over there, kind of on its own. Neptune is, how did I put it here? Art, fiction, spirituality. There we go. Okay, so then we have this, we can ignore Chiron there. We're going to look at these. You know what, I'm just going to cover up Lilith, because we're just going to talk about these three: the Moon, Mars, and Uranus. Okay, and then we're going to talk about how this is working together, how this is working together, and then what it's going to be like when you've got this, I consider this, when there are 90 degrees, it's called a square, because if you go from, say 6 degrees here, and you go back 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees would be a square. 90 degrees. Okay, and that's what these red lines are symbolizing. And this is that's a little wide for me. I wouldn't necessarily say that a trine is, I would want this to be like back here so that it would be 120 degrees, which would be another 30, which would be a trine. But they're being generous and putting that extra blue in there, so it's not just all red and we're not just all freaking out. So your moon, it's your emotions, or collective emotions. You have Mars, which is how we take action. God of war, taking action, doing. And then we have Uranus, remember that H in the symbol? Uranus is the rebel. It's also an idealist. Rebel and idealist. Okay, I just lost 10 people watching in the last minute or two. It's like, I understand. I totally get it. Okay. Let's start with this, because these are really close together. You've got Mars taking action, and it's right on top of the rebel, the idealist. So this is a rebel taking action. This is an idealist taking action. These are all working together. Okay, very strongly working together. They are right on top of each other. Their energy is completely melded together. All right. It is in Taurus. If you remember Taurus here, see the symbol Taurus? It's Taurus. It's the house of values and valuables. I have. It's an earth sign. It's ruled by Venus, but it is a very, very practical sign. Okay, so I'm just going to put a keyword here that Taurus is practical. Okay, and it is in the 12th house. Okay, what is the 12th house? The 12th house, right here, it's the house of Pisces. It's the house of spirituality, institutions. The phrase is, we serve. Ruled by Neptune, it's a water sign. This is the last sign of the zodiac. You can think of Aries as when you're born, you cry out, you take action, I am born, I am incarnated, I am here. When you're Pisces, in the last sign, it's like you've got one foot on the other side and you're like, I'm done with humanity, they tend to be quite spiritual people. Also, you've heard of the age of Aquarius, which is what we're going into. Well, for the last 2,000 years, we've been in the age of Pisces. And right at the beginning of the age of Pisces, we had, there was, some guy, you probably haven't heard of him, he was born Bethlehem, something like that. Pisces, the constellation is 2 fish, fisher of men. This spirituality, you can think of that. All the Pisces I know have a strong spiritual bent somewhere in them. Okay, so the 12th house is this house of not just spirituality, but also institutions. Think of the good side of the church with caring for the sick and the poor, and they used to run hospitals, and they would, but using institutions that help people. All right, so 12th house it is spirituality, but it's also, well, let's put spirituality and institutions. There's also some self-sacrifice, I think, is more to the point. Because if you really can embody the energy of Pisces, you feel the collective, because you kind of got one foot on the other side. Pisces are often psychic. Yes. Okay, so that's the 12th house there. So you can say, all right, so what this says, a rebel taking action in a practical way, but also maybe with an air of self-sacrifice, because the house is going to be the background flavor. Self-sacrifice, perhaps using established institutions, hospitals, or something like that. Could be government. But not only is this rebellious, but it's also the humanitarian, because it's the idealist. All right? Now, nearby, within what's called an orb, O-R-B, is the distance between planets. And yet I realize that the moon isn't the moon isn't a planet, the sun isn't a planet. For sake of ease, in astrology, we call them all planets overall, just like, yeah, distance between planets, where they're still affecting each other. And it's still affect. They still affect each other. Okay, and that's called an orb, O-R-B. Now, for the sun and the moon, the orb can be like 10 degrees in either direction where it will affect something that's there. For most other, people debate. For other planets, I tend to just keep an eye on like maybe 5 degrees in either direction. I think it still has some effect, not much more. So this orb, can you make sure? No, let me see. Is this showing up? Okay. So hopefully you can see here. This orb, 10 degrees. So this moon at 29 degrees right here, and then this conjunction here, conjunction means it's in the same place of Mars and Uranus, is only at 6 degrees. So let's see, 1 degree would make this, bring it to 0, Taurus, plus 6, so it's only 7 degrees away. So that's within the orb, so it's still going to affect each other. So in a sense, because it's the moon involved, all this together is a conjunction. It's effectively all in the same place. So all the energies of all of this. So there's going to be an emotional element, serious emotional element, and how we feel, but also how we're going to show what we feel. It's going to have an idealistic bent to it, but it's not going to be passive. Even though it's in the 12th house, which can be a passive sign, Mars is there. Mars is in the middle of this. Mars is going to take action and it's all, and this is going to happen in a practical way. The only thing that maybe throws a little bit of a wrench in this is that this moon isn't in Taurus. The moon is at 29 degrees of Aries. And Aries is that first sign in the zodiac, the I am. There are, you will find Aries to be some of the bravest people you'll ever meet. Absolutely. You'll find a lot of, like, even if you like, somebody mentioned that it's surprising the number of like anchors on MSNBC are Aries. And it's like, well, it's not really surprising because there are a lot of journalists who are Aries. There are a lot of soldiers who are Aries, the god of war. But even people who are really willing to get in someone's face to do the right thing or do the wrong thing, but really that ability. Mars rules Aries. And with people who have their moon in Aries, they can either be very, very brave, and I'll put brave here, or the negative sign, because there's good and there's bad. It can be brave, or strangely enough, and I'm bringing this up just because of some of the, like where it is, can be selfish. If you are offended by that, I will stay on longer afterward for you, just you, if you are offended by that, and I will tell you every negative thing about Scorpios. Have you tried to throw tarot cards? Um, I have looked at this, but I'm kind of in the middle of going through the astrology. But thank you. Practical, Taurus is practical. It can be stubborn, can be incredibly stubborn. People say Scorpios are stubborn. You haven't met a Taurus. Whew. So there's a bravery of that's going to meld into all of this idealism, acting through institutions. So actions taken by the next president and his administration, or her, but probably his, I'm guessing, his administration, they will act through using institutions that exist. They're not going to just like go off into whatever else. It's not going to be down in the house of Leo where it's the house of kings. No. This is, for example, Biden coming in and saying, all right, let me put the government back together. And so, okay, this housing area, okay, this is the Department of Housing. It is actually going to work for people. This self-sacrifice, this work for, and really taking action with it in an ideal way, even if it's rebellious, to say no, we need to do something extra. We need to do like an FDR kind of thing. We need to do a New Deal, a Green Deal, something. But first of all, we've just got to put it's practical. How they take action is going to be practical. So it's going to be it's not going to be completely pie in the sky. Is Aries more stubborn than Taurus? It does depend on the situation. Aha! This is worth knowing. This, who's stubborn, comes down to, you can think of each one of these three as a quadrant of there are 4 quadrants, quad, 4, okay? And you can think of when you first come into a quadrant, again, Aries, this is a cardinal sign. You first go into a quadrant, it's a cardinal sign, which is they take action, they move forward, they take initiative, mom is going to be in there and take care of it. This Capricorn is going to be there, and they are going to work, So these are the forward movers. Then in the middle of each quadrant, you have the fixed signs. And it's almost like they're like this part of the way through the quadrant, and they're just like, look, I'm staying right where I am. I embody this quadrant or whatever it is, but I'm here. This is mine, this is where I belong, and that's going to be the end of it. These are the fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Then we get the mutable signs. It's like, well, we've got to loosen up a little bit if we're going to be moving into another quadrant. And Gemini is probably the most famous mutable sign. This loosey-goosey, let's loosen everything up so we can go. And Sagittarius is all about go. My father's Sagittarius. It was his favorite word when I was growing up, saying to all of them, go, 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 go. He loved to travel. It's what's over the next horizon, what's over there. This is Gemini, let's go talk to people. What's going on, what's over there? What's over there? Pisces, what's on the other side? So as far as who's stubborn, first thing is to look at the fixed signs. They're the most likely to be stubborn. And if they don't have their sun there, they might have their moon there. So we're back to this. All right, so that's how the next administration is likely to act, because that's where the Mars is. That's going to be very important. Emotionally, it's going to be part and parcel of this. Our emotions, we're going to blend with this emotionally. We're going to be like, okay, all right, emotionally, I'm emotionally invested in this, because they are basically conjunct in the same place. Conjunct. In the same place. And then squares. A square is 90 degrees. A trine is 120 degrees. And a sextile is 60. All right, we'll be talking about that in a minute. Conjunct is in the same place. Squares 90 degrees apart. A trine is 120 degrees apart. Sextile is 60. So it's the shorter blue line. The longer blue lines are this. Longer blue line. Shorter blue line. Okay. So hopefully, as I'm talking about these things, I'm not just like throwing jargon at you and you'd be like, what the heck? You know? All right. So that's this grouping right here. Okay. Now up here, now these are kind of way out, because remember the orb, the distance between the planets, so they still affect each other. Now the sun, since it's sitting at basically 1 degree of Aquarius, it's going to, anything that's 10 degrees in this direction or 10 degrees in this direction, it will be a conjunction in the same place. Okay, so if it's at 1, let's take off this to bring it back to 0. So that's 1, so we need to go back 9. So if we go back 9, that goes to about here. So there are 30 degrees in each sign, and there are 30 degrees in each sign, and these larger, slightly longer lines, those are marks of 10. That's 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. This is at 1, and we need to go back 9. That would put it at 20, 10, 21. Anything that goes back as far as 21 of Capricorn. I hope I didn't just make that so confusing. Here, this is 0. This is 0 degrees Capricorn. Right here, 0 degrees of Aquarius. Zero degrees of Capricorn, 0 degrees of Aquarius. And they're 30 degrees. So if we want to go 10 degrees back, it will put us right there. So this Pluto is definitely within that window. And then 1 plus 10 would be 11. So that's 10 degrees, it's 11 right there. So Jupiter would. So Mercury and Venus aren't in those windows. So there are 4 things that are conjunct in the same place because they're all under the sun. Everything under the sun within 10 degrees either way. If the sun wasn't there, these wouldn't really be conjunct because it goes from 24 up to almost 4. That's kind of wide, but because the sun's right there in the middle, it just like pulls them all in. All right, so these are conjunct, which means those 4 are conjunct. They're in the same. So all this energy is going to blend together. So our sense of self as a country, right there. Plus we're going to have a right nearby, it's still well within the 5-degree orb, where it's a slightly wide, but it's still a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. And I explained earlier about how it's both lucky and optimistic and expansive and very positive, but also it brings things into physical forms in a good way, with our sense of self there just blending right, just good to our own sense of self. We can do it. It's optimistic and it gets stuff done. And that's our sense of self. We can do it. And we have Pluto there, so we're intensely involved. Our sense of self, our power, our sense of power, this is incredibly powerful right here. All right, so those are together. So, but this and this, what I talked about over here, are at 90 degrees from each other, 90 degrees away from each other. They are square, and that's these red lines. And what that means is it's like an overload. It's energy can flow between things, and trines, very gentle, like drifting down a river with your friends. It can even be lazy if you have too many of them. Or a sextile, the 60 degrees, the shorter blue line, that's more energizing, but it's still very positive. The square is huge. It's like high power electrical wires. If you can figure out how to harness that energy, which people who have a lot of squares in their own charts over the course of their lives, they learn how to harness that energy, which is amazing. You can, whatever you're dealing with, it can take off like a rocket ship. But if you're not used to it, and even if it's in your own chart, it can be tough. Because imagine you are standing right next to a high power high tension electrical wire that happens to be like right on the ground next to you, and you're standing right next to it. It's like, okay, all right, I need to harness this energy, because the sense of self and all of this power, and we can do it, and all of this is going to be absolutely, there's just going to be all this energy just these energies are just going to be blasting each other. The good side of that, talk about lighting a fire under your back end. Wow. And it's lighting a fire in, Pluto's over there in the 9th house, this is interesting. You'll find this interesting. And about time. Pluto's in the 9th house. The 9th house is it's the house of Sagittarius. It's the house of travel and higher education and law. Let's keep that in mind. Pluto, our power, that intensity, the power plant, as it were. Our power is going to be in using law and higher education. About time. Whereas the Sun, Jupiter, Saturn is in the 10th house, which is, it has to do with status or standing in the world. and work. Okay, so even though, and we have the idealism of Aquarius, and Pluto's over there in Capricorn, which is the 10th house, which is also about our standing in the world and work. So that's why I say that astrology can be really, I mean, if you just looked at this whole thing at once, and maybe even now, it's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Well, this is one heck of a chart. Oh, are we frozen? Okay, is that better? This is one heck of a chart. And it can be a lot, but I think that's why I'm trying to get everyone to just try to just focus in on keywords. It's not like, because it can mean 47 different things, each thing meaning 47 different things. Trump supporters still fighting the Civil War. I'm not getting that. This is the inauguration. This is noon. This is what the next president, this is his 4-year, this is the chart for his first term in office. And this is going to be the focus. It's going to be doing all of this power. And to some extent, it's not just the chart for the next administration. In a sense, it's the America under this administration too. Because as they go, we go, like it or not. So it's I think there's going to be a great deal, there's a lot of idealism, practical natures, using institutions, some sense of self-sacrifice, being brave, our optimism, we can do it, optimistic about bringing things into form, using law, higher education, as opposed to whatever Trump's feeling today, but using the power of our intelligence, our education, using the law against people who've broken the law. So this is very important. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. My phone's about to die. And my gosh, I've been on for more than 2 hours. So that is, I will leave you with that. I hope I didn't just completely melt your brains. And all 90 who are still watching, bless you. You are brave. You are brave and patient. And I salute you, because that's a lot. That's a lot. All right, so that is what that means. And you guys, I hope you have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll just do tarot. We just do this astrology thing on Sundays. So, all right, hang in there. Yes, thank you, Troll Slayers. Boy, you really just took care of us today. Thank you. Thank you. All right, have a great day, everybody. Hang in there. We're gonna make it through it. And I think there's some good stuff. And come on, we want to hear all the dirty details just about how we want this to watch the karma. All right, we want to watch the karma arrive for these guys. So thank you. Hang in there. All right, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.